Hello, I'm Dave Gentry. Welcome to the RedChip Money Report. And for those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines multimedia and traditional investor relations, reaching a global audience of investors. Today on the show, you'll see interviews with executives of three public companies. First, Sorrento Therapeutics, stock symbol SRNE on the NASDAQ. Sorrento is a clinical stage antibody-centric biopharma developing new therapies to turn malignant cancers into manageable and possibly curable diseases. Then up second is Giggles N Hugs, stock symbol GIGL on the OTCQB. Giggles N Hugs is a restaurant that brings together high-end organic food with active play and entertainment for children. Giggles is preparing to expand into multiple new markets. And finally, Interpace Diagnostics, stock symbol IDXG on the NASDAQ. Interpace Diagnostics provides clinically useful molecular diagnostic tests and pathology services for evaluating the risk of multiple cancers, with a particular focus on thyroid cancer. Later in the show, we'll learn about their expanding portfolio of tests and impressive track record from President and CEO Jack Stover. Now, our lesson of the week comes from Buzz Heideke, portfolio manager of Mid-South Investor Fund. Don't put too much money in any one stock. Spread it out. You never know which ones will be your big winner. This lesson comes from Chapter 12 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book that I wrote. And you can order your copy at redchip.com or Amazon. So to learn more about Buzz Heideke and other leaders in the small cap space, again, purchase Small Stocks, Big Money. Now, our first interview today is with Dr. Henry G. of Sorrento Therapeutics. He's the chairman, president, and CEO. Let's go to the interview. Henry, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Well, it's my pleasure. I want to talk today first about your company. Precisely, what does Sorrento Therapeutics do?
We are antibody-centric biopharmaceutical developer for cancer indication and autoimmune diseases.
Talk to us a little bit about some of your development relationships, some of your collaborations, and what we're going to talk about here in just a moment, which is your CAR-T technology.
Yes. So we have a collaboration with Karolinska Institute with our CAR-T programs and ADC programs with targeting the multiple myeloma. We also have formed a company, contributed some of our assets into a company called Cellularity. The companies have other contributions from Celgene, United Therapeutics, and Human Longevity. That company recently raised money, and our valuation in that company alone is about over $100 million, and with our 25% equity ownership in it. And that company has multiple products FDA approved and multiple products in the phase 2 development stage. So that's very cutting edge cell therapy company.
What is CAR-T? That's a very important technology today. What is it?
So the CAR-T combines the CAR with the T cell. The CAR stands for chimeric antigen receptor. The part of them is the antibody outside the cell targeting the target, and the inside of the CAR is the activating domains that activate the T cell. When you have the CAR into the T cell, when the CAR T cells meet with the cancer cell, they've been activated, and the CAR T cell can kill the cancer cells very effectively.
I want to talk about the value proposition and why investors should own the stock today. I will mention that a major investment bank in the small cap arena, Rodman & Renshaw, has a $20 target price. I also will mention that some of your competitors in the CAR T space using the same technology to target cancers, such as Juno, is a $5 billion market cap. Kite is a $12 billion market cap. Bluebird, I believe, is about a $9 billion market cap. I want to talk about your value proposition, how you differ or how you're similar to these companies.
Yes. So the Juno and the Novartis are the pioneer in the CAR-T space, which is just the beginning of a revolution technology in the biopharmaceutical space, because the CAR-T is so effective, potentially could be curative for treating the cancer. So the Juno has about 18 patient data on their CD19 CAR-T product, and the market cap is about $5 billion. And the Kite have about, before they got FDA approved, they've been sold to or acquired by Gilead for $11.9 billion for the same type of a CAR, which is CD19 CAR T. And you have a Bluebird targeting another target, which is BCMA for multiple myeloma. Of course, multiple myeloma is way bigger than the leukemia or lymphoma. That's why when they have announced about 18 patient data for their BCMA CAR T program, their market cap reached around $9 billion. There is another company called GenScript Legend. They recently had a deal with Janssen. Upfront is $350 million. About a half years ago, they announced the BCMA CAR T data for a couple of dozen patients. And that company, last September, which is September of 2017, was a market cap around $500 to $700 million. As of today, they are $6 billion. So when you have a positive data from a CAR T, your valuation could be appreciated very rapidly. We're right now, Sorrento, focusing on the next frontier CAR T, which is a CD38 CAR T. We believe this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, CAR T therapy in the space. The CD38 targets the multiple myeloma and some other very big indication. We are the leaders in this space, in the CD38 CAR T. And we are going to be IND filed first quarter and potentially get into human first half of this year. And if we somehow have a positive readout of CAR T, CD38 CAR T data in the multiple myeloma indication, second half of this year, we're talking about we're going to be at the same league as the journal Bird, the Kite.
And I'll note that there are multiple analysts covering your company that agree with you, and I'll show you on the screen there for our viewers some of the companies covering your company and the target prices. So first half of this year, you're in a phase 1B, phase 2,
yes.
1B2 trial for
yes.
the same indications as you said, Bluebird, is that correct?
Yes.
And that, again, that market cap, to be clear, I think is about
$9 billion.
$9 billion, and
yes.
you're $300 million.
We are currently around $400 million right now.
400 stock has been moving up, you're right.
Yes.
It is about 400 million. Investors want to know that you're well funded, so let's talk about your capital needs and where you are in terms of funding.
We just recently raised the $50 million convertible bond, and we have about burning $5 to $6 million a month. So at this moment, we're well covered, and we believe that with good programs, we will be potentially getting a non-dilutive cash from a corporate license or corporate sponsorship or collaboration with a corporation. So we believe we're positioned really well in this space.
We actually, for 2017, we're trailing about almost 130 million in revenue, correct?
So that $130 million revenue, majority of them is through accounting that with our contribution into joint venture called Cellularity. That Cellularity is contributed with asset from Sorrento, with asset from Celgene, Cell Therapy, and United Therapeutics and Human Longevity. And we are the largest shareholders of Cellularity, owns about 25% of the company. And the company raised the money, and the last round of valuation gave us about $125 million equity in that company alone at this stage.
And Henry, you also have some other programs in various stages of development. You have a non-opioid pain management program. Talk to us about the status of this program and any upcoming milestones.
So we have lidocaine topical system, which is the ZT-Lido. We finished all clinical trials, all the CMC work per FDA requirement. We submit the NDA to the FDA last year. So that means less than 2 months, we will get the words from the FDA, whether we get the drug approved or not. If we get the drug approved, could be potentially very significant revenue generator for the company, as this compound are targeting a market in around $800 to $1 billion market opportunity, and we are positioning our company as best in class for this product line.
Now, I want to talk about some of the key players on your team, both from a leadership perspective as well as from a development perspective.
Yes, we actually assembled a very experienced, seasoned teams in clinical development. That including Jerry Zuda. Dr. Zudas is formerly a CMO from Chief Medical Officer from Celgene. He was the first MD hired by Celgene, and he grew with the company from a $100 million company to all the way to a $100 billion company. And he retired 2016 and he joined us the same year, and because he believed our pipeline is very robust. And together with Jerry, we also have Ken Takashita and Bob Knight, also from Celgene. They join us. They are the expert in the multiple myeloma clinical development. 3 of them responsible or participate in product approved development for about the $10 or $11 billion product get approved and with revenue on the market. So we have very seasoned team. We also have Mark Brunswick as our head of regulatory. He's formerly examiner in the FDA for 9 years and is very experienced. We have Steve Kay. He's our pharmacovigilance and clinical operation guy, and he's the head of pharmacovigilance for Mesoblast, Australian company in the cell therapy side.
Excellent. Henry, again, in summary, why should investors take an interest in your stock today?
Yes, I think the value proposition for us is that we are in the cutting edge of the CAR-T therapy development, and we are not far away. We're the leaders in the CD38 CAR-T for very big market, which is multiple myeloma. If this drug works, we should be in the same league as Bluebird and Juno or Kite, and that will increase the value potentially to $5-10 billion or beyond. Currently, we're about $400 million. I think there is a huge discount here on the valuation side.
Very good. I would have to agree with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Now, to get more information about Sorrento Therapeutics, visit redchip.com, and while you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies, and also on the website, research reports, fact sheets, press releases, and more. It's all free. Sign up today. Now, our second interview today is with Joey Parsi of Giggles N Hugs. He's the founder and CEO. Let's go to the interview.
Joey, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Joey, for our viewers that are unfamiliar with Giggles N Hugs, let's start out with a quick overview of the business concept.
Sure. We're a family restaurant and play space. Now, what that means is that we're one of the first and only establishments where inside the restaurant we have a giant play area, which allows the parents who have small children to be able to sit, eat, relax, and eat delicious, gourmet, high-end, organic food while the kids are being entertained and playing around inside the play area.
Joey, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in your stock today?
Over the past 7-8 years that we've been in existence, we've laid the foundation, a very solid foundation for success going forward. We have one of the best management teams, I believe, in the country, in the restaurant business, with the former CEO of Wolfgang Puck Enterprises here, the former Chief Operating Officer of California Pizza Kitchen, the former Chief Operating Officer of some of the most iconic brands in the country, including Hard Rock and Planet Hollywood, et cetera, are on my team. And we have an incredible opportunity in terms of partnerships with the largest landlords in the country, the 4 largest landlords, mall owners in the country. So we have plenty of locations to pick and choose from. We deliver an incredible amount of foot traffic to these malls, and with the malls sort of dying right now because of online shopping, people are spending a lot more time shopping online than they are actually physically going into the malls. The malls look at us as a partner, and so they're paying us to go into their malls to bring our foot traffic with us. With all that said, with our stock price being as low as it is and having record sales, record revenues, I think it makes a compelling story for an investor who's looking to get involved with an opportunity to potentially make significant gains going forward.
Joey, you're really the polar opposite of a Chuck E. Cheese. Can you tell us, how do you differentiate yourself from that franchise?
Yeah, sure. So Chuck E. Cheese was started by Nolan Bushnell some 40, 45 years ago. Nolan is the founder of Atari, for those viewers that might not be familiar. Atari, in essence, pioneered the video game industry. And when Nolan Bushnell sold off Atari, he, for several years, he sort of sat on the sidelines and enjoyed the fruits of his work at Atari. But then the video game industry that he had created had become huge in the United States and around the world. And so he wanted to monetize the video game craze, and he created Chuck E. Cheese and filled it up with a bunch of these video games that he had, and served up some pizza and called it Chuck E. Cheese. Now, how we're different, I appreciate you telling your viewers that we're polar opposite, and you're true, and that's correct. How we're different is that where Chuck E. Cheese serves pizza and what you would call a salad, we serve, chicken breast paninis and Alaskan wild salmon with ginger sauce and beet salad with candied walnuts and goat cheese. Everything is made fresh in-house. All of our dressings are made fresh in-house. All of our sauces are made fresh in-house. We use all organic produce. We use, locally sourced non-hormone meats, etc. So, where they are an arcade center, in essence, we're an entertainment company. We keep the kids entertained and engaged with activities and games, as opposed to putting them in front of a screen. Where Chuck E. Cheese is what you would call a restaurant, and again, I would look at it more as a pizza place than a restaurant. We're a full-service restaurant. So that's how we're different, and that's how, in essence, we're opposites.
Joey, you touched on this a little bit, but your concept has proven its ability to increase foot traffic at malls. Can you talk to us more about the relationships you've built with the mall owners, and what does it mean for your expansion?
Sure. So over the past 6-7 years, as you and your viewers probably know, consumers have shifted their habits in that there is a lot more shopping now being done online, whether it's on Amazon or Overstock or elsewhere. Many more of us are doing our shopping online. As a result, less and less people are physically going to the malls and physically shopping. And the mall owners are feeling that. They are scrambling. In fact, they're very scared right now because with Kmart and JCPenney and Sears and many of the other retailers out there suffering right now, the landlords are trying to reinvent themselves, re-energize themselves, and trying to figure out ways where they can bring in foot traffic. Well, each Giggles N Hugs location brings in maybe 15,000, 20,000 individuals per month, per location through our doors. And so the mall owners look at us as their partner as opposed to a tenant. They've rolled out the red carpet for us. They paid us substantial amounts of tenant allowances to get us into the existing malls that we're in, the existing locations. But now they're offering us even more incentives and more opportunities and discounts on rent to get to lure us into their malls because they want our foot traffic. And because of that, they're all sort of looking at us, as I said, as a partner.
Joey, management is always key to success for small caps. Can you tell us more about some of the key members of your executive team?
Sure. We have Philip Gay, who's the former chief financial officer of California Pizza Kitchen. After CPK, Philip moved on and became the CEO of Wolfgang Puck Enterprises, which I'm sure your viewers are very familiar with. He was a CEO of Grill Concepts, a publicly traded restaurant company here in the West Coast. My president is John Kaufman. John came from CPK. In fact, John was the original chief operating officer of California Pizza Kitchen. Together, John and Philip grew California Pizza from just a couple of locations to over 100 locations, whereby Philip arranged for the sale of the company to Pepsi-Cola companies. So we have them on our team. We have Sean Richards, who's helped roll out concepts like Pink Taco, Hard Rock Cafe, Viper Room, etc. Together with Sean, John, and Philip, I believe we have one of the best, if not the best, management teams in the restaurant business.
Joey, you've got some impressive clients that everyone probably can recognize and would know. Why don't you give us a little more in-depth to who are some of your clients that the audience might know?
Well, obviously, we cater to families across the town here. Regular people are the majority of our customers, but because we're in sunny Southern California, and particularly here in Hollywood, we obviously get a lot of celebrities. And many of these celebrities have become friends of ours, and some of them have actually become investors in the company and ambassadors for the company, so that they can amplify our voice and what we're trying to communicate to the country for us. As an example, you guys can go onto our website and get a glimpse of some of our celebrity friends, but people like Mark Wahlberg or Adam Sandler or Jay-Z and Beyonce or Sarah Michelle Gellar or Halle Berry, etc. These are some of our clients. But recently, over the past 6, 8, 10 months, we brought on our team some favorite moms, customers of ours, Tia Mowry and Jillian Michaels, who are both ambassadors to the company. In the case of Jillian Michaels, she's our global brand ambassador. She's a significant shareholder, and we're thrilled to have her on our team. A couple of months ago, through her help and with the addition of Michelle Steinberg and Domain, which is our PR company that we just recently engaged, we were able to have NBC Extra cover an event that we did, the launching of our Fitness Fridays, whereby every Friday we have activities and games that's all about working out and being active that Jillian Michaels put in place for us. We also have a couple of the dishes from Jillian's recent cookbook that we've added to our menu. So we have a ton of celebrities that frequent our establishment, but we also have regular families that love what we do, that look at us heaven on earth, as heaven on earth. There's not a whole lot of places out there, John, where parents can come and be able to sit and eat in peace when you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old running around. It's very, very challenging. And so, particularly for celebrities, if you can imagine, if Beyonce is out with her child, Blue Ivy, and Blue Ivy, spills something or breaks something or, has a tantrum for some reason, that becomes front page news across the country. Well, at Giggles N Hugs, it's all about throwing tantrums and spilling things and breaking things. So in some cases, celebrities love us even more.
To wrap it up, Joey, why should investors take an interest in Giggles N Hugs today?
Well, we've done a lot of hard work over the past 7, 8 years to sort of situate ourselves and lay the foundation for significant success going forward. With our management team amongst the best in the country, with the unique partnerships that we have with all the mall owners in the country, with the unique concept that we have, with sales, our sales and our profits being significantly higher this year versus last year. In fact, if you look at our third quarter numbers, our net margins were close to 30% out of our Glendale location. That's unbelievable. To have 30% net margins on a unit level, on a restaurant level, that's extraordinary. Most restaurants right now are seeing margins in 4, 5, 6%. I think at one time I thought Chipotle was up in the low 20s, and Wall Street thought that they were the best. And so to show the kind of results that we're showing with margins at 30%, EBITDA on a unit level at 30% is pretty extraordinary. And then our sales was up 12% this year versus last year, when most restaurant companies are showing comps of negative 1 or 2%. Or if they're doing really well, they're showing 1 or 2% on the upside. And so to show 12% year-over-year sales increases is pretty magnificent. We were up 7.5% in our Topanga location. So combined, I think we've done extraordinarily well. And yet our stock price is trading at historical lows. And I want to make sure that your viewers understand, we have raised over $9 million to date to get to the point that we have. Close to $3 million of which came personally from me. And yet the market cap of the company today stands at around $3.5 million. Now, this is before the management team that we have. This is before all the incredible things that we've achieved over the past 6, 7 years. And so to see the market cap of the company trading at historical lows when the actual reality of the business is that we're thriving, sales up, profits up, everything is doing great, and yet our stock price is down. So if an investor is looking for potential growth, I think our stock price represents significant opportunities for investors going forward in terms of upside potential.
Joey, thanks for being with us today. We look forward to hearing more from you and Giggles and Hugs in the future.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me on, John.
Now, to get more information on Giggles and Hugs, visit redchip.com. You also see on the screen information about a rights offering that this company is doing. It's an opportunity for you to invest in a different way in this company. And again, you see the information on the screen. Now, our final interview today is with Jack Stover, President and CEO of Interpace Diagnostics. Let's go to the interview.
Jack, welcome back to the show.
Hey, John, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, Jack, since the few short months since you were on the show, you've had some great achievements, and one of them being the launch of your molecular lung cancer test. Can you tell us a little bit more about the test, and how does that kind of affect your clinical side?
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, the interesting part about our lung cancer test or assay is it's not a new test for us. We've already done over 600 tests over the last several years. Effectively, we had it in our portfolio. We just didn't market it. The great part about the test is it's well reimbursed, and it's very effective. So physicians, patients are in fact demanding it and have been demanding it for a while. But even more importantly, it's reimbursed. So above and beyond the key issues in terms of the pricing, reimbursement is certainly critically important. But even more important than that, it's already in the guidelines. So while it looks to be a new product for us, it's really well positioned for the future. Our sales reps and our customers are very excited about it. The nice part about the test is what it does is it allows a physician to evaluate metastatic cancer and lung cancer versus basically primary cancer. So they can determine whether it's originating or whether it's coming from someplace else and how to deal with it differently. We believe it's a very good opportunity for us.
Now, Jack, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take notice or buy the stock in Interpace Diagnostics today?
Well, the value proposition certainly hasn't changed. I think what we've been able to do is to basically demonstrate that value proposition in a number of ways. So let me go through a couple of key points that are really important for us. One is we are and continue to be a growth-based company, and we're demonstrating that in our quarterly financial results. Number two is the quality of our products, and certainly gaining reimbursement in multiple areas and expanding reimbursements differentiates us from a lot of people in the space. Number three is our opportunities for the future with effectively the position we're in now with the cleaned up balance sheet, with some of the programs we've launched. We believe we're in a unique opportunity to really even expand beyond what we've done in the future in the end of 2017 and 2018. And we're certainly excited about those opportunities. And I'd say maybe the last reason is we still continue to believe that our stock is undervalued as our story is just beginning to get out into the marketplace.
Now let's talk about your thyroid franchise. Now, recently you received a CPT code from the American Medical Association. Maybe talk to us about what is a CPT code, how will it affect your revenues, and do you expect to get some more CPT codes maybe for the ThyGenX product?
Thanks, John. CPT code, first of all, is a clinical procedural terminology. What that really means is that effectively the AMA, the American Medical Association, identifies what particular code you're under simply for reimbursement purposes. So another way to say it is that with a CPT code, it's easier to get paid. So that's number one. Number two is, as we look at our thyroid franchise, as you called it, it includes both ThyGenX and Thyramir. The combination is really important to us. And in fact, 90% of our physicians order both ThyGenX and Thyramir. So the fact that we have a CPT code for one of those designations, we believe is a strong expectation that we will have a CPT code for both designations in the future.
Speaking of ThyGenX, you recently announced that Medicare is increasing its reimbursement of the test 40%, which will start on January 1st. What drove that change, and what does it mean for the company, Jack?
Yeah, so ThyGenX has been approved since roughly 2015. So this is not something that happened overnight with basically Medicare. And what's happened is they've watched and evaluated how we've processed claims and assessed basically our cost structure and analyzed our outcome data. and with that made the determination that our assay for Thygenics really deserved a higher rating. As a higher rating, we will end up with, as you said, about 40% improved reimbursement. As we look at sort of the Medicare component of our Thygenics assay, that's about 40% of our revenues in Thygenics. So the combination looks to be very supportive of some nice expected growth that we're planning for, beginning January 1st.
What else should investors look for maybe down the road, 12, 18 months?
A couple of things that we would consider value inflection points as we go forward. Certainly, one of the most important is continued reimbursement. Reimbursement for us is absolutely key. We've done a good job. We have plenty of opportunities to expand reimbursement as well. The growth of our new lung assay, getting that to the market, getting our sales reps to promote that and discuss it with physicians, and the pull-through of that product should be extremely helpful for us as well. The other items that we think are inflection points as well is continued cost management. We're expecting to announce our earnings for the third quarter about November 15th. We're hopeful that we're on track for our planned growth for 2017. And then as we look at sort of the opportunities that we have, we're in a unique position in that we have a very clean balance sheet, we have capital, and we're certainly looking at other assets, mostly products to be able to acquire or relationships we're able to develop to be able to bring products in cost effectively into our portfolio. What's important to remember is that we really are a commercial company. We happen to be in molecular diagnostics, but we're first and foremost a commercial company.
And Jack, to wrap it up, why should investors take an interest in Interpace Diagnostics? And why should they own the stock today?
Yeah, good question as always. I think it's about our prospects for the future and the success we've had in the past. So the success we've had in the past is really a good indicator of the opportunities in the future. Again, we have a clean balance sheet in terms of going forward. We have sufficient capital to be able to move our programs forward in an aggressive way. We're very cost-minded, so we're cost-effective about what we do. We have new products, like our lung product, but we also launched 4 or 5 new expansion products as well. We're looking at the acquisition of other products in the future that are synergistic with what we do. And I think ultimately we have a great management team that has been able to perform and deliver. And then again, I'll say that from a valuation point of view, I think we're very reasonably valued in terms of the marketplace as we look at our competitors. Our story is just getting out there and the awareness is beginning to grow thanks to you.
Well, thanks, Jack, for coming by. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Now, to get more information about Interpace Diagnostics or to learn more about other public companies we represent, visit RedChip.com. And while you're there, again, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies, research reports, fact sheets, interviews, and much, much more. Now, let's recap what companies we met with today. First, we met Sorrento Therapeutics, stock symbol SRNE on the NASDAQ. Sorrento has a rich development pipeline, and their work with CAR T-cell programs could become blockbusters. Multiple big milestones on the horizon in 2018. Any positive news from their various trials could send the stock significantly higher. Then we looked at Giggles N Hugs, stock symbol GIGL on the OTCQB. Giggles N Hugs' impressive management team, their advisory board, and their celebrity brand ambassadors have positioned the company for long-term success. Again, also, you'll see information on the screen about a rights offering. It's another way for you to invest in the company. We also talked with Interpace Diagnostics, symbol IDXG on the NASDAQ. IDXG has done a great job of cleaning up their balance sheet over the past year and has been showing steady increases in revenue as more and more of their tests are used. With strong reimbursement agreements in place, revenue growth should continue moving forward. Now, for more information about any of the companies featured on today's show, visit RedChip.com. Again, while you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates again about emerging growth companies, research reports, fact sheets, and much more. Now remember, before investing, do your research. These stocks are for your speculative money. Gains can be significant, but you must also be prepared for the downside. And make sure you read our full disclosures at RedChip.com. These are client companies. I want to thank you for being with me today. And again, at RedChip.com, you can also watch all of our shows online.